So talking about exercise, your exercise prescription for longevity seems like quite a low dose of movement to me. It's like 10 minutes out of breath a couple of times a week. Is that a minimum effective dose or an optimal one?
Minimal.
Okay. Have you got any idea what an optimal one would be?
No one does. But it's somewhere between running 10 minutes 3 times a week on a treadmill and running 20 miles a week, something like that. And there's a lot of studies, so it's really hard to say which is the optimum. And there are different types of exercise. There's running, there's cycling, etc. But yeah, at a minimum, lose your breath 2-3 times a week. And if you can't do that, if you're too old or too lazy, like I am generally, long walks are great. I like to lift weights, so usually next to my desk, I'm moving house, but usually I'd have some weights just next to me. And so when I'm bored or feel a little bit restless and I've been sitting down, I'll just pick up weights. And, you don't have to go to the gym, just have these sitting around next to you. And I find that to be really great. And I do my exercises with a little bit lighter weight than a bodybuilder would. I haven't told anybody this, but this is what I do. I do a lot of reps, and I'm doing this and this during the day. And I do many reps, and I do them fast because that also gives me the aerobic exercise as well as builds up my muscle. Now, I have a gym, so I do more serious weights. But in my office, I'm doing high reps, and it's aerobic and muscle building, which, I've been optimizing this for my body for the last 30 years, since I was a kid. And I don't know if it works for everybody, but for me, I've never felt this good. I've never been this sharp. I've never been this happy. I'm not going to say I've never looked this good, but I certainly feel young and great with what I'm doing.
Well, you had to lift your shirt up to clean the camera lens before we got started, and you're looking lean at the moment. Lost whatever it was, 12 pounds since February.
Yeah, I found my six pack. It was somewhere under there.
Yeah, man. That's awesome. Well, another advocate, I guess, similarly within this space, although a little bit more towards the performance endurance side's Ben Greenfield. And he tells me that trying to walk through his office, he says, is like doing an obstacle course because he's got a kettlebell here and he's got a resistance band there. And he's got a treadmill desk that he walks on with one of these self-powered banana treadmills. Are you going to show me a treadmill desk underneath your desk?
I'm going to show you what I have under here, which is cool. I don't know who makes this thing, but...
What's that? That looks like a torture machine.
No!
Oh, is it a stepper? Is it a stepper?
Stepper under my desk.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you get bored and restless, I suppose just turning around and having something to do. Have you had a look at the impact of sitting or being sedentary on longevity?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the classic quote is, it's as bad as smoking. Now, that may or may not be true, but it's certainly bad for you. I can speak from my own experience that I sat down for 2 years to write Lifespan, the book. By the end of it, I couldn't walk properly. I had a cramped up piriformis muscle that runs through your hip bone. And it took about over a year to fix it. And that's just one example of the problems you can have from sitting. But, if you're sitting, it means that you're not moving your heart, training your heart. That's the main problem. And also you get the obesity that comes with it, or the weight gain. And there's very few things in this life you can do to accelerate your body's clock faster than to gain a lot of white adipose tissue or fat on your body. Now, I'm not, telling everybody they have to be, have a six pack. That's not really the point. That's a choice. But you want to maintain a healthy weight. BMI, for me, optimally, looking at the science, is around 23. Different races and sexes are different, of course. But the point is that there is an optimal weight for longevity that you can hit. I write about it in Lifespan if you want to look up the references and all of that. But I was talking about this with Joe Rogan just last week, that, we talk about being healthy weight and lean and optimizing our bodies, not because we want to shame anybody else who isn't. I mean, I've been pudgy for some of my life. What we do it out of love. We really just want everybody to feel the way we do and have the confidence that we do. And that comes from working a little hard sometimes going without some things that you'd love to eat or do, or doing some things you don't want to do. But in the end, it's so worth it. And the gains you get at the end of your life will really make it worthwhile.
But think about anyone that's found a new productivity app, right? Or joined a cult or joined a new religious movement that makes them feel whole, makes them feel good. They become evangelists for that movement, right? Dude, you got to try this new note-taking app. You got to try this new workout. You got to come to this new nightclub or whatever it might be, because I want you to experience the thing that I've had. And you are right. It seems like for some reason, the empathetic position in terms of trying to get people into a position of health it doesn't feel like that gets sort of felt. It feels dictatorial and oppressive as opposed to empathetic and encouraging.
Yeah, well, you and I are trying to hit the right tone here. And I think that it's worth saying again, it's hard to go from a standing start to extremes. You just have to do better every day, and you'll fail some days. I'm not perfect, and nobody is. But as long as you keep at it, it's all about every day trying to do better. And in fact, that's the goal in life anyway, at everything you do. But for health, it's really important because our bodies are trying to fight us. Our bodies want to sit down. They want to eat sugary and fatty foods. And the food industry designs the food to activate those pleasure centers. So we've got the marketers and food producers against us. And I'm trying to even level the playing field here.
What was it you said? Fuck the limbic system.
Yeah. That's right. Don't do what it says. Otherwise, all we'd be doing would be eating, sleeping, and having sex. Yeah. I know that sounds great, but you're not going to live that long, unfortunately, especially if you're doing them all at the same time.